to be repatriated to his home country. The port security manager indicated that the ports of Ghana have for a long time now not recorded any cases of successful stowaways due to stringent measures deployed by the port authorities.
For a long time, we've not had any stowaway because of the measures that have been put in place at the port of Tema. There is a procedure we call rummaging. We use trained working dogs to move within the vessel to ensure that we don't have any stowaway in the vessel before the vessel sets off. So this is one way we have had that kind of success in the port of Tema.
He also urged sister ports to further collaborate against the stowaway menace.
I think that we need to share procedures, what we do in each other's ports while we are having non-reportage on stowaways in Ghana.
Colonel Emmanuel Nyante also advised potential stowaways against the dangers of the act.
In the worst case scenario, sometimes when you are discovered on the high seas, you can be thrown overboard. So these are things that potential stowaways, those who think they want to embark on that, should think about it.
All right, so let's now take a look at some international news in the port and maritime industry.
CMA CGM issued a brief statement on September 20 to customers confirming that the French shipping company has again experienced a data breach. In the written statement, the company sought to minimize the reports of damage, telling customers that its engineers had discovered the security issues. They said that their teams have immediately developed and installed security patches. Reports, however, said that the hackers were threatening a large release of data as a means of demonstrating the carelessness of corporations at protecting customer data and privacy. Protesters have crippled operations at Sudan's main port as the country sinks deeper into political and socio-economic crisis. The situation has been exacerbated by what the Sudanese transitional government describes as an attempted coup by military officers and civilians on Tuesday. Demonstrators have blocked the main road connecting Port Sudan with the rest of the country since Friday last week, paralyzing operations at the main container and oil export terminals. They contend that they were locked out of a peace deal signed in October last year. Last weekend, the U.S. Coast Guard rescued a fisherman who had been badly injured by a 300-pound stingray while trawling off the coast of Long Island. James McKenna, a crew member aboard the trawler Shelby Ann, was working on board on Sunday evening when he was struck by a giant stingray. The creature left 2 6-inch-plus spikes embedded in his leg. His crewmates gave him first aid and made a VHF distress call to the U.S. Coast Guard sector Long Island Sound. The command center consulted with a flight surgeon who recommended an immediate medevac, and a Jayhawk helicopter crew out of Air Station Cape Cod got underway to assist.
All right, now we are going to go for the Goel TV market. And remember, the Goel TV market is all about showcasing the products and services of one of our lead sponsors, Goel Company Limited. And this week's edition comes through from Asaman Kese. Remember, our premium is always placed on the Goel Super XP Ron 95. Enjoy.
Goel, in the service of the nation. North, south, east, and west, wherever we put you first. Goel, Goel, Goel is good energy.
Goel is good energy. Yawo Asamankasi filling station. Apart from that, no, yawo kede ewo hanom, yawo oda yawo stations mienu. Obia ope fuel ato. Awo Asamankasi area mu ade. Omra go Asamankasi no meto fuel.
Oh, I fuel no. When you come here, me dey juma. I am me Philippa. When you she say, I say, I no ma me be say, be bo me koto. Instead of juma na fuel asa, dey na sa. Ba di, ti dey juma pon me me ti me ji pa.
Ni agwa ye ton eyewe. Die tia ne kala no eye ahaba mu no say. Ewi ase nyina no petrol no e kosora na ho odin no sa ne tie no. Omo ma ne kala. Eto ko baby an hu ne ya haba mu na e kire se e euro 95. Say ye petrol. E kire se euro 95. Sa ne wi ase nyina kala ne. Regular ɛyɛ 91 say Ghana red oko baby so a different color but I yate ase eti etwa say Yusufu a na hoɔden no ɛwɔ so
XP3 additive when they say it is the only multifunctional additive on the market. You can't be a multifunctional. It just say it to me and your brain. Additives be on market as well. I'm a customer and disperses you. But if to me, and reduce emissions. If you make us say it to me reduce emissions, but it to me disperses you and free with fuel. If you say it to me cleaning injectors, but it to me disperses you. You know, SP3 there. It's me and you.
Yeah, going up the year. So Ghana for year. I say, some guys are good. Yeah. Well, so you forecast I can see. Please go. I can see. Any idea? Please forecast I can see. I go. One from with me, I should be fair. If it's only this year, yeah. And look at Tobia. I guess Petra.
And then say very Billy. And say go filling station and the purchase open and the purchase say we are to 4 different places. You can say they are not mechanic to Bosie. But we have to go and from pay. We will see it. They don't carry any work.
Yeah, Davini. Makaka, and I'm into for a girl. Now, me told baby, but we were so good here. We said, girl, a woman, pa. Then I'm told baby, Miss Solana Pounds for Chemicana. We say, sir, Timmy, we said, be a mean Jinuna, and yet. But we were so good here, Miss Pakia. So we see an Ebano, and Bassa. Yeah, come from our mom, we super true, and the desert. Save your motor, a year. Namunim but Muyanko Davini Abacadia. Mutrasam to many bedroom well, as a man can say, filling station.
North, south, east, and west, we always stand for the best.
All right, so that was the Goyle TV market which came to you from Asaman Kese. Now it's time for us to zoom into our discussion tonight. And you would have heard that the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has introduced some waivers on interest and penalties for the trading public. And this has been running for some time now. And my understanding is that this particular opportunity given by the GRA is getting to a close at the end of this month. So tonight we want to assess what has been the success of this particular exercise embarked upon by the Ghana Revenue Authority, what the overarching objective was, and whether they have really realized it. And what does this mean for compliance in terms of payment of taxes and all that. And so tonight we've gotten somebody from the Ghana Revenue Authority. He's in the person of Mr. Dominic Nab. He's an assistant commissioner at the Ghana Revenue Authority and also the technical assistant to the technical advisor to the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Indeed, I'm proud to say that he's my slave, and I happen to grab him and drag him into the studio, and I'm going to grill him on the good job he's doing there at the Ghana Revenue Authority. You're welcome, Mr. Nab.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, I'm sure you'll be blushing because you are sitting in the presence of your chief.
No comment.
All right, so for those of you who are wondering what I'm talking about, he's a Frafra Medagao, and so we are playmates. If you ever wondered why we always have a poppy as a trophy in the annual Dagaba Frafra games at the Elwak Stadium, I'm telling you why tonight. So I happened to grab him, and we are grateful to have you in the studios tonight to have this beautiful discussion on the waivers and you are giving on penalties and interest to the trading public. And so first of all, I want to find out from you, tell us about it.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers as well. Yeah, the Ghana Revenue Authority actually is working towards ensuring voluntary compliance. And as part of the measures, government has actually deemed it well to actually rule out this amnesty. Now, you would also realize that this pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, has actually affected lives and livelihood. And businesses actually have been badly hit, as a result of that. So what government has done is just to roll out some relief, to taxpayers. Now, what it is that if you owe taxes up to a period of 31st December 2020, and you have interest and liabilities as a result of the taxes that you haven't paid, the law says that take advantage of this amnesty and be forgiven of all your interest and penalties. But the opportunity is actually, in fact, it opened in April, 1st of April, and then it will end on 30th of September this year. But what it is that you, as a taxpayer, you are required to actually arrange to actually settle your indebtedness by 31st December 2021. Or you arrange, either you settle or you arrange, whatever it is, the last payment must be made on or before 31st December. When you do that, then you now benefit from the interest and penalty waiver.
You mentioned interest and liabilities. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so...
How does one accrue interest and liabilities? Okay.
Now, what it is that taxes are actually a creature of law. Once you earn income, unless it is exempt, the law requires that you pay taxes. So if you fail to pay your taxes, they generate what we call interest. Again, as a taxpayer, you are required to also file your tax returns. A failure to file your tax returns would also generate what we call penalty. So interest and penalty would be as a result of your failure to either file or to pay your taxes.
So how is the GRA able to identify that this particular entity has fallen foul and has accrued interest or has accrued a penalty?
Yeah, so let me just first of all say that every taxpayer or potential taxpayer has 4 obligations. The first obligation is to register with the Ghana Revenue Authority. Now you register as a taxpayer, and then you also register for your tax types, so that we get to know the tax types that you are required to actually, pay, file and pay. The next one has to do with filing of your tax returns. And the third one is to pay your taxes and pay them promptly. And the last one is to disclose your income honestly. Now, if you earn income, unless, as I said, the law exempts you, are required to pay. So for us as GRA, some of the incomes are actually self-assessment oriented. That is to say, the taxpayer must actually file. There are others too that Commissioner General would have to raise an assessment. Whether it is self-assessment or Commissioner General raising an assessment, then it means that once income is involved and the tax is imposed, you must pay. Now, when you don't pay these taxes, they are going to accumulate. Is that okay? And then they will attract interest. So it is as a result of income that taxes are actually imposed. If you don't earn income, you don't pay tax. That is the truth of the matter. You get it? And the law also allows taxpayers to enjoy what we call some relief when it comes to losses that they make. Right. If you make a loss and then you are in the priority area, the law says that you can carry over your loss for 5 years. If you are not in the priority area, you can carry over your loss for 3 years. So what we are saying is that if you earn income, the law requires you to pay tax unless you are exempt. If you also make losses, you are required to carry over your losses and use it against your future income before taxes are paid.
Okay. Yeah. All right. How pervasive or rampant would you say this particular trend is, where you find people accruing penalties and interests?
You see, yeah, I find it quite mind-boggling, I should say, when taxes are imposed and they are not paid. Because the point is that GRA does not actually tax capital. What GRA taxes is income. Right. And income is when you actually deduct your costs. Is that okay? From your revenue, realized. The difference becomes what we call your income, for which taxes are imposed. Now, if taxes are imposed on your income, you are required to pay, because that is what the nation requires to be able to run. You see, taxes are oxygen that the revenue, that government actually uses to run this, country. So if you don't pay your tax, then that becomes a challenge. Government finds it very difficult to be able to actually run its machinery to ensure that we are able to get what we need as a country.
All right. So we want you to tell us the numbers or figures, if you have them, as in how many businesses have attracted, this particular, since you rolled out in April.
Oh, countless, so many. In fact, the response is very good, and we are also hoping that once the period is getting to an end, many more will take advantage, So we'll actually be able to know the numbers after the period is over. But for now, once they are still filing to take advantage, we are still counting.
All right, so far, we have barely, what do we call it?
This.
Barely a week to the close of this particular opportunity or window of opportunity that you have given to them. Would you describe the exercise as a success?
Oh, yes. Yes, for us, yes, it is. You see, the point is this. This is an opportunity government has given, which taxpayers who are actually, have arrears, they must take advantage. If you don't do that after the period, then it means that Commissioner General may have to just enforce action. So for me, I think it's a very good opportunity that taxpayers are required to actually take advantage to reduce their burden. You see, government has been very sensitive because the COVID-19 has actually created some difficulties for businesses. So interest and penalties are also taxes as well. But government says only pay the principal so that the interest and penalty don't pay. So it is good to take advantage. If you fail to take advantage of this, then that becomes an issue.
So I want you to tell us what sanctions are in place or awaits those who would fail to comply.
Well, for now, we are hoping and believing that all taxpayers will take advantage of this opportunity. If they fail to take advantage of this opportunity and then they also do not settle their tax liabilities, then that would actually force the Commissioner General to ensure that all the enforcement tools available to the Commissioner General would be deployed. But of course, Commissioner General would have to assess all the available tools and use the one that would actually be cost effective.
Right. Okay, so imagine that I am a business that has attracted a penalty or interest. How do I access this particular opportunity that you have given?
Okay, thank you very much. In fact, the law, immediately the law was passed, Commissioner General came out with a guidelines regarding how it is supposed to be administered. We have a form that is where you have to actually either you pick it up from any office of GRA or you pick it up from you download it from our website. Now you are supposed to actually complete the form, indicate your thing, your business, and then the taxes which have been assessed, then the penalties, and then the interest, and then the arrangement that you are making to actually take advantage of this opportunity. All those things are quite spelled out clearly.
So all I need is to just be wary and then perhaps look out for the GRA. Do you have a portal that the fellow can go into?
Yes. But as I said, just any GRA office or you go to our website, you can download the form and then complete it. Yeah.
All right. So as a country, what would you say is our level of tax compliance?
Well, to the extent that we are collecting taxes, I wouldn't say it is bad, but we still have to just work hard at it. I have always said that it is a constitutional responsibility when it comes to tax payment. And again, given also the fact that we need to actually be able to run this country as a nation, then tax payment becomes very legitimate. In fact, I don't think that it's even right for GRA to even come out and ask persons that owe or that have taxes to pay. Though it's a constitutional obligation. If I will go to the Constitution, Article 41J, it is there. Disclose your income honestly to the institution that is responsible. In this case, Ghana Revenue Authority. So once you earn income, you must pay. I always say that if for nothing at all, the peace that we are enjoying in this country is enough to tell us that we need to actually pay our taxes. And government must also run national health insurance. Are you getting it?
Absolutely.
Yes. So when you fall sick, you have to go to the hospital. Fortunately for us, we have this free education. All these things must be underwritten, and they have to be underwritten by through taxes. So if you don't pay taxes, how does government run? You get it? Often people make the claim that, government can borrow. But even if government borrows, government will have to pay through taxes. You get it? So the taxes are actually the oxygen that we need to be able to run this country. Without that, we are actually going to fail. And again, COVID-19 has taught us useful lessons that we need to actually be inward-looking. Is that okay? Otherwise, if we are relying on donors, I can tell you there's donor fatigue. And again, they are also struggling with this COVID-19, just as any other country. Why can't we just look within and raise the money? So we just have to be honest. We have to be truthful. And we have to actually ensure that we pay our taxes as and when they fall due.
Now, as an authority, what have you done to encourage and motivate people to voluntarily, take their responsibility or obligation of paying taxes seriously?
Commissioner General has done so much in this regard. What we have done is just to look at the tax landscape and look at the bottlenecks and see how we can clear them. For example, it was always the case that you needed to just go to GRA office to pay your taxes. We felt that, look, no. Is it possible taxes can be paid online? Yes, that has been achieved. That's a very significant milestone for the Commissioner General. Again, when it comes to filing, we also expect that anywhere you are, you should be able to file your tax returns. You don't need to just walk to GRA office. That has also been achieved. That's a significant milestone for GRA. You get it. So we keep doing that. And now education. We keep educating taxpayers. Thankfully, what we are doing is also education by your courtesy. So we are grateful. Yeah. You get it. So constantly, we try to actually look at what it is that would aid us, be able to strengthen the structures that will ensure that taxpayers are able to pay promptly. We also engage them. We give prompting. Is that okay? Through the newspapers, social media. You are supposed to pay, giving you a reminder. Is that okay? Rescheduling, tax payment, for you to pay comfortably. These are the things that we are doing to encourage voluntary tax compliance. This amnesty is also another important, area to ensure that we are able to actually have voluntary tax compliance. We are doing so much. We are doing so much in that regard.
All right. Saying you are doing so much, have you done an assessment to see whether the so much that you are doing is actually eliciting the right, as with the results?
Oh, the fact, last year we made a target. Is that okay? And this year we are sure to meet the target by the grace of God. So that tells you that the structures that we have put in place are working. Are you getting it? But we keep reviewing.
What's the target for this year, and where have we reached?
Oh, I haven't actually. I just didn't know that will come up, so I didn't look at the numbers. But of course, we are sure to make it. Yes, because we have put in place structures that would ensure that we are able to rope in, the needed revenue. And we are not doing that by taking what does not belong to us. We are just taking the taxes from income. Are you getting it? Right. That actually have, right. That is what it is. We are not, as I said earlier, we are not imposing taxes on capital. We are just taking taxes from income. So we are trying to ensure that whatever income tax that taxpayer is required to pay, they pay.
When you say income that is right, what is that?
No, what I mean is that the tax has become due. So once the tax has become due, you have to just pay.
Automatically, all right.
We are not asking you to pay in advance. Are you getting it? But when it becomes due, if for any reason you receive a gift, we expect you to come and pay. Are you getting it? Once gift is received, it has become due. Come and pay. That is it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I would like to stick a bit with that because it's something that you said you would do to enforce the law, because it's, right now lawful, it's legal, that when someone receives a gift exceeding a certain threshold, the fellow would have to pay taxes on it. Have you had instances where people would walk into the GRA and say, this fellow has given me so-and-so gift, this is how much it's worth, and I'm coming to pay taxes on it?
Let me just start by saying that there's no threshold any longer in the law. Any gift that is received is taxable. But you see, what the law has done this time around,
if it is 200 cedis?
Whatever it is, even if it's 1 cedi, once it's a gift, you have to pay. But you see, there has been some paradigm shift in terms of the law. What the law has done is that if you receive gifts and the gifts are as a result of your employment, then you add it to your employment income. For example, you work at Gapoha. Somebody brings you a hamper because of your work. Then we expect that you quantify the market value of the hamper and add it to your employment income. If it is as a result of business that you are running, let's say, for example, you are a Unilever distributor, and Unilever gives you a van to aid your operations, the law requires that the market value should be determined and added to your business income. If it is not business, it is not also investment. That becomes what we call, it is not business, it's not employment. That becomes investment. Right. And the law requires that you pay. Now, individuals can elect to have the gift tax at 15%. That election is there. But if you are added to your employment income, then we expect that you use the graduated tax rates. If it is also business income, if you are an individual, you use the graduated tax rates. But if it is an entity, then we are required to use the tax rate that is applicable to your operations.
So I am around, and maybe a friend of mine is coming from, abroad, UK, US, and then brings me a television set. What am I supposed to do?
What you're supposed to do quickly is just to get the market value of the television set. Is that okay? And raise an assessment. Is that okay? Once it is self-assessment, what it is that how much is the market value? You impose 15% on it, and you walk to GRA office. In fact, you pay online.
Mr. Assistant Commissioner, nobody has seen this man give me this television. He has brought it, I put it in my boot. I get to the house, I set it up, I'm enjoying my TV. Why should I go through the burden of, assessing the value and then coming to GRA and say, somebody has brought me something, I want to come and pay,
It is
some
not
tax on the gift.
Yeah, thank you very much. It is not a burden.
I'm
In
just
fact,
playing the devil's advocate.
I understand. It's not a burden. It's a benefit. Are you getting it? We must actually come to realize the importance of tax payments. Once we come to that realization, I think that we shouldn't think that it's a burden. Again, when it comes to tax payment, we are looking at two things. One, Commissioner General is expecting everybody to use what we call integrity. I have received gift, nobody has seen it. On my own, I should be able to actually file and pay. That is true. Then the second one has to do it. If you don't come out to do that and we get to know, then that becomes an issue. We'll raise an assessment on you and you are supposed to pay. And we determine interest, as it were, on you.
All right, so somebody's girlfriend is celebrating the birthday and the fellow decides to buy her a brand new Mercedes C300 2018-2019 model. And you take a look at the value of the car. You think somebody like the fellow will be able to raise the money to come and pay? We know people buy houses for people, and all that. So I think that is maybe GRA or, you really need to put your foot on the ground. If you want to rake in money, this is an avenue. If you want to enforce the law, you are going to be able to rake in a lot of revenue from this particular, venture. Because we have people doling out gifts every day, houses, cars, and all that. And I don't think that, have there been instances where someone will come and say, someone has bought me a house, I want to pay for,
I think after this program, I have to get in touch with you so they give me the list of such persons, and then we get them to pay. Yeah, on a more serious note, I think that that's a challenge, but that is also the law. You get it? The law requires that when you receive a gift, you pay gift tax on it. Somebody gives you a house. Now the challenge is how do I raise money to pay the tax?
Absolutely.
You get it? What you can do is that once it is a law that says pay tax on it, you must look for money and pay. Or you sell the house. Are you getting it?
Or to be incumbent upon the one giving you the house to pay the tax.
No, when he pays, that becomes additional gift. Are you getting it? For which you have to pay. There are two things. You can sell the house. Is that okay? Take the money. Pay the tax and buy a smaller one. Exactly. Are you getting it? You see, we need to get to a point where we have to actually embrace tax payment as part of our culture. In fact, the president, when he was addressing the Bar Association, he mentioned that tax payment is not our culture, and we need to actually cultivate it.
Absolutely.
Are you getting it? And I was particularly glad when the president of the land, is that okay, made a clarion call for everybody. A lot of people think that it was only the lawyers he was addressing. No, he was addressing the whole nation. You get it? He started by eulogizing, efforts being made in terms of tax collection. Absolutely. And then he said, look, let's sit up. This is the only country we have. Are you getting it? And we need to raise money to be able to actually prosecute the agenda of government. That is what it is.
Right. You just mentioned the president's address at the Bar Conference in the Upper East Region recently. Since then, have you realized any changes, even if it's marginal?
Yes. You see, GRA has always been very proactive. Even before the bar, let me first of all even start by saying that we actually are grateful to the Ghana Bar Association for making tax payment one of their topics that they actually treated, for which the president had the opportunity to actually share his thoughts. We are very grateful to them. That is one. Number two, before even the Ghana Bar Association, Commissioner General had asked that we write to all the professional bodies, get data, reconcile with what we have. Those that are not in there, we try to actually get them to pay. You get it? So that was actually ongoing. Unfortunately for us, the president also made that call. You get it? So yes, we are on it, trying to actually get the data and do the reconciliation. Those that are not, in our records, we get them to actually come on board and then we pay. They pay the taxes. Fortunately, again, as I said, we have this amnesty that is running. So we are appealing to them to take advantage. Is okay of the amnesty. The amnesty is for persons who haven't actually registered with Ghana Revenue Authority at all. Come and register and be assessed to tax, interest, and penalties. Then you are forgiven of interest and penalties. If again you have also been on our tax reader, but you haven't actually paid your taxes, they have accumulated. This is an opportune time for you to actually come and then pay your taxes and work freely so that you can also talk about, things that are not done right. You see, often people just want to talk about the fact that certain things must be done. But you see, if we don't pay our taxes, how do we demand accountability? let's pay our taxes, and we can't actually be encouraged to also demand accountability.
Right. So the president was explicit when he mentioned professionals. He says professionals are not paying their taxes and due to the state. Is there a mechanism by the GRA to be able to identify these professionals? Do you have a database of all the professionals we have, and have you reached out to them to impress upon them to, do the needful?
I'm not too sure that was what the president said. What he said was that when it comes to tax payment, professionals have a poor culture of payment of taxes. That was what he said. He didn't say they are not paying taxes.
Right.
But when it comes to taxes, we have direct taxes and indirect taxes. Some of them import cars. They pay taxes. Is that okay? They eat in the restaurants. They pay VAT. I mean, there are certain taxes that they pay, obviously. And when it comes to income tax, some of them are employees. They work for employers, for which their PAY is deducted as source and paid to GRA. To that extent, they are paying. I get it. But what he is saying is that a good number of them are actually not giving a good account of themselves. So that was what he was actually talking about.
Right.
You get it. And as I said, GRA has already started. You get it. Trying to reconcile the data. We have written to all the professional bodies. You get it.
Right.
To give us their list, because the law requires that before even your license is renewed, you get it.
Yeah.
You are able to get what we call tax clearance certificate.
Yeah.
So we want to actually put in place that kind of medicine and insist on it. Without the tax clearance certificate from GRA, no license should be renewed. That is what the law says. Are you getting it? And I'm sure the lawyers are law abiding, and they will take opportunity and make things right.
Right. You just mentioned you've written to them. When did you do that, and have you received any responses from them?
Long. You see, the point is that, again, some are paying. Are you getting it? But we need to, at any point in time, we have some who are going off, some go on retirement, and therefore will not be able to actually pay. We need to reconcile all those things and take those who are not paying out. Are you getting it? And those who are not on board, we bring them on board to ensure that they actually pay. That is what we are doing. And very soon we'll come out with the numbers.
And have you received responses from those that you've written to?
Oh, yes. Responses have started coming. Are you getting it? They have started coming. Of course, you remember some of them they just returned from their bar association. Are you getting it? So we expect that now that they are back, they would actually sit up. That is those who are not paying and those who are not on our radar.
So now that you know them, if they don't come, would you follow them to the offices?
Of course. I mean, you see, the point is that when it comes to tax payment, we have a duty. If you don't pay, we'll look for you. That is what we are supposed to do. Are you getting it? And I think that we are doing just that.
Right.
You get it? Right. But you see, the truth of the matter is that if you come to tax payment, it is quite difficult. Money is not something that can just be written on people's faces, that he has earned income. You need to actually go through a process. And taxation is also a law. You need to go through the law. Are you getting it? It would be wrong for me to write to you, Mr. Mona, and say that you are supposed to pay taxes when I have not been able to establish the right information that would actually lead to that conclusion. So we need to also be very careful so that we don't actually tarnish people's image, without any basis.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I would want you to educate us on the amnesty regime of the, GRA. Do we have types of amnesties?
Oh, yeah. When it comes to amnesty, in fact, it's a creature of law. We can have a complete amnesty, that is full amnesty, where you are forgiven of all your taxes and interest and penalties. But this current one that is actually ongoing is what we call partial amnesty. That is only targeting at interest and penalty. Right. So these are basically the two types that we have. The full amnesty and then partial amnesty.
So full amnesty encapsulates everything, 100%?
Yes, in the past, government had done that before. I get it. Where once you disclose, your tax returns, which were hitherto hidden, I get it, and you could disclose all income, then you are forgiven. Then you start on a clean sheet. We did that in the past. But this time around, the focus is just interest and penalty, and that's what the government is looking at. Right. Yeah.
Now, can you draw the dichotomy? Who qualifies for a full amnesty and who qualifies for a partial?
No, for now, we don't have the full amnesty, so I can't even talk about it. But when it comes to the partial amnesty, the one that currently is running, one, we are looking at persons who haven't registered with Ghana Revenue Authority at all, but they are doing business. So they are required to actually come in and then take advantage of it. Then number two, we also have persons who are on our records. But the truth of the matter is that they are actually not paying. This is also an opportunity to take advantage of it. There are some too that have not filed their tax returns over the period. So you are required. So these are persons that are required to actually benefit from it. Again, the qualification is in respect of taxes up to 31st December 2020. Let's take note of that. So if there's any tax liabilities arising from this year, 2021, that is not part of the criteria that we are looking at. Yeah.
All right. So, in spite of all these incentives that you've outlined, why do you think it's still very difficult for people to honor their tax obligations? I also want you to tell us whether what the steps and processes are that one needs to take to enjoy the amnesty.
Why is it difficult?
In spite of all these incentives that you have outlined.
I guess I should rather ask you that question to answer. Because I'm a tax administrator. So I should rather ask you, what is it that is making it difficult for you to pay your taxes? I guess it has to do with the culture, as the president alluded. Are you getting it? It has to do with the culture. So we need to actually cultivate that. It must be a very conscious effort. Are you getting it? I think that perhaps in the law, it says clearly that Commissioner General, in some instances, may have to just use name and shame. Put people's names in the papers. Are you getting it? On television. These are persons that actually owe. Are you getting it? But before Commissioner can do that, he needs to actually establish the right taxes. Are you getting it? So that we don't get it wrong. Otherwise, we can run into legal challenges. That is one. And two, sometimes the law, I must admit, may not be too clear. But even that, what Commissioner General does is to come out with what we call practice notes, trying to explain his position of the law and how he wants the law to be applied. Is that okay? And he has also sometimes he comes up with what we call private rulings. You are not clear about the transaction that you want to enter into or you have entered into, and you want Commissioner General to give you his position on it. Then you can also apply, and that one is also done. So the fact that yes, there could be some challenges with the law. Commissioner General is addressing it or has even addressed some of them. Are you getting it? That is also one that we need to look at. And I often also talk about the cash economy that we run as a country. It's also a challenge. You get it? You go to other countries, every money that they have is put on a card or it's in a system. Are you getting it? They don't actually float, cash. You get it? But here is a case, persons perform jobs, they are paid in cash, they keep the money. And they come out to tell you that they haven't received anything. It becomes a challenge. So these are some of the things. And I am particularly happy that the government is trying to actually get everybody, to appreciate the need to actually move from cash, into what we call cash light or even cashless. I get it. Okay. And GRA has taken, steps to go cashless, which I believe you are aware. As we speak now, we don't collect cash in our offices. What Commissioner General says, which I particularly identify myself with, is that GRA has a responsibility to administer taxes. When it comes to cash and cash-related matters, there are other organizations that are also responsible for that and are good at that. Let's concentrate on our core areas and allow them to also do that. So now we don't do anything about cash. It is that burden has been taken care of. And now those staff who were hitherto collecting cash have been trained and they are going to be deployed to help us be able to raise the revenue.
Right. I told you to also tell us about the processes or steps that one will have to undertake or go through to access amnesty.
Oh, yes. So what it is that you just need to download the form and complete it. You understand? But first of all, you have to ask yourself, do I have any principal taxes that I haven't paid? Is that okay? Up to 31st December 2020, you must establish that first. And once you establish that, are there interest, are there penalties? Once you are able to establish all this, then you ask yourself, how do I actually go about paying? Because the payment must be made on or before 31st December this year. It cannot go beyond this year. Once you are not able to liquidate your indebtedness that you are finished with GRA by 31st December, then you cannot benefit from the interest and penalties. Is that okay? So these are the things. So you need to actually apply. You have to consciously apply. Nobody's forcing you. If you don't apply, what it means is that you are prepared to actually take care of both your principal interest and all your principal interest and penalties. Are you getting it? It is actually, if you like, an opportunity that has been granted that you can grab or not grab. Government is not forcing you. Are you getting it? And when you take advantage of it, nobody in future will ask you to come and pay those interest and penalties which have been forgiven. And again, you will not also be prosecuted, which is also very important. Are you getting it? But beyond that, if you fail to take advantage of all this, then the Commissioner General would have no option but to use the enforcement measures available to him to actually collect his money.
Right. All right, so this is our report here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we are discussing the waiver of interest and penalties by the Ghana Revenue Authority. And like you heard him, by the end of this month, this particular opportunity will be closed. And so all you need to do is take advantage of it right now. And we would like to tell you that this program is sponsored proudly by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Revenue Authority, Goil Company Limited, Serene Insurance, and Ghana Link Network Services, the operators of the Integrated Customs Management System at the ports. Remember, you can send us your messages ahead in the course of the show, and the number to send your messages is our WhatsApp line, which is 0559-019-177, 0559-019-177. I've seen tons of your messages coming in through. You can also send yours, and we'll be glad to share it with the rest of the world. We're going for a short break. We'll be back shortly.
Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
All right, so you're welcome back. Remember, this is I on Port. With me in the studios is Mr. Dominic Nab. He is an assistant commissioner at the Ghana Revenue Authority and a special advisor on technical matters to the Commissioner General of the GRA. And we're discussing the waivers on penalties and interest that the GRA has rolled out to the trading public. Now, I just wanted, there was talk, there's always talk about wanting to expand the tax net. I mean, so much has been done about it. How have you fared?
Thank you very much. We are only not widening the tax net, we are also deepening it. By deepening it, what we are trying to do is those who are paying, if there are other incomes that they are earning, which they are not disclosing, want to get them to pay. And also those who are not, on the tax net want to widen it. So Commissioner General is looking at two-pronged approach to this. Are you getting it? So when it comes to new taxpayers, for us as GRA, we are trying to actually identify. So each day, we are working around the clock, picking intelligence and following up lists. Is that okay to get people to actually, pay? And also to ensure that persons who are already paying are able to disclose their income honestly. So these are some of the things.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me just zoom straight into our messages. There are a few more questions I will have for you once the program is still underway. But this one says, I want to know, supposing I have an custom vehicle, which year is 2005, is the overage penalty for that vehicle going to be waived? Or which waiver are they talking of? Well, tonight we're not talking about waivers on vehicles and on customs vehicles. I know you guys expected us to discuss that, but
no, it's part of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So here, you see, if you look at the amnesty, we are talking about general amnesty.
Okay.
It's not only income tax.
Right.
When it comes to customs, any duty. Is that okay?
Right.
That is supposed to be paid, that you haven't paid, which has generated interest and penalty, up to 31st December 2020.
Right.
I have also been taken care of.
Okay.
So you can take advantage of it,
Okay.
yes.
So this particular text, you heard Mr. AC, he says you can take advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Go with your 2005 manufactured vehicle and then you'll be granted amnesty. If I were you, tomorrow morning before he arrives in the office, I would be there waiting for it. This one is from Spalas from Tachiwan. He says, is there a rate for calculating taxes? I happened to enter a provision shop in my area, and the shopkeeper was being harassed that paying 30 Ghana cedis quarterly as tax stamp is small, so she should come to the office for the right amount to be calculated.
Yeah, so what it is that we have what we call the tax stamp, for which government has even given some suspension for now, as we speak now. The second, third, and fourth quarter of this year, we are not collecting. Yeah, so that is that. You see, the point really is this. Once you are in business, you are required to pay taxes. There are some persons who are in some category that it becomes very difficult. They are not able to prepare accounts. So we put them what we call the tax stamp, which they are supposed to pay quarterly. But there are some that, in fact, the quarterly tax stamp that they are supposed to pay is not actually final. They are required to submit a tax return so that we make a determination of their true income.
Right.
In some cases, if they overpay, we refund. In other cases, too, if they have also underpaid, then they make up. Are you getting it? But there are some that are relying on having using the tax stamp. But really, you look at their transactions, you look at their profiles. They are supposed to migrate and then have a file and be paying. Are you getting it? So if somebody is saying that they were harassed, I'm sure if he had asked, probably he would have been told why they were on that person, not to rely on the tax stamp, but to actually have a file.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So this one says, hello, sir. How do I see that someone has paid withholding tax on my behalf? This one's from Raphael from SCC.
Yes. So when it comes to the withholding taxes, there is evidence. We have what we call tax credit certificate. Once a withholding tax is done on your behalf and paid to Ghana Revenue Authority, you, the withholdee, that is the person who has suffered withholding tax, is required to be given what we call tax credit certificate.
Right.
So you go to the
tax credit certificate. Okay.
You go to the authorized agent, and he's supposed to actually give it to you. Now, the point is that in time past, it was GRA. In fact, the law was very clear. GRA was supposed to issue it. But under Act 896, it was the authorized agent. Now, if you look at it carefully, it is a certificate, and that is also supposed to actually be a receipt for tax payment. If we are not very careful, we are going to have a lot of situations on our hands that we cannot actually contain. So we decided, okay, fine, let us have stakeholder engagement and come up with a certificate that will be acceptable to all. That's what we have worked on, and very soon we will come out where the taxpayers themselves will be able to actually print their tax credit certificate once the withholding is done.
Right. Okay. This one says, good evening. I am enjoying your topic for the day. Thumbs up to the technical advisor. Please, can he explain how tax returns are received back to tax payers across the country, and why are they chasing people to pay tax, but to strengthen businesses are not their concern?
Oh, let me start by saying that we try to strengthen businesses. What we do is to help them. In fact, in time past, we came out with helping them to prepare financial statement. I mean, simple bookkeeping. Are you getting it? Right. How to determine their profit. We took them through. We even came out with some, I think, CDs, on that. Is that okay? And we also offer, services to taxpayers on their businesses. Are you getting it? We do all that. But the questioner was asking how a tax return is actually received.
Yes.
I think,
Yes.
A tax return is nothing but an official declaration by a taxpayer that is furnished with the Commissioner General regarding their activities, their income. Are you getting it? That is earned over a period.
Right.
And also their allowable deductions. Is that okay? What it is that if you have revenue, the law also allows you some income that you can actually deduct from the revenue. And that would actually determine whether you have made a profit or you have made a loss.
Yeah.
That is how it is. Then it is submitted to us. Some of the returns are submitted quarterly. Some are submitted monthly. Some are also submitted annually.
Right.
Are you getting it? Let's take employees, for example. Once you're an employee, at the end of the year, the law says that not later than 4 months after the end of the year, you are supposed to submit a tax return to GRA. And that is supposed to disclose all incomes that you have received, which are, related to your business or to your employment or to to you in connection with anything that you have received. You disclose all that. Is that okay? It is to help Commissioner General be able to determine a realistic and fair assessment. Commissioner General would not like to take a person more than what the law says he should take. I get it. It is only the tax returns that would allow that. Now, when you fail to submit the tax return, then you give the Commissioner General a discretion. Is that okay? To assess you. But that is also something that we want to do sparingly. Are you getting it? We would want individual. In fact, if you look at the law as we have it now, the current rendition of the law requires what we call self-assessment.
Right.
The taxpayer should assess themselves and come and pay. Are you getting it? We are shifting that responsibility to the taxpayer. You know yourselves. You know the kind of business you are into. Assess yourself. Are you getting it? And keep revising as and when your economic parameters dictate.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Absolutely.
And then at the end of the day, you file and pay comfortably. That is what we are trying to do. Yeah.
All right. This one says, good evening, Ken. I'm finding it difficult to understand the framers of the tax law. For example, is he saying the vehicles that we have paid so much tax on and it is dashed out, the tax law is saying the receiver should quantify the cost of such vehicles and pay tax on them? Please let him explain well. And how is GRA able to know if the vehicle was indeed dashed out as a gift for if the receiver failed to declare and pay the tax? This one is by Phil Menz.
Yeah, you see, let's get it right. When you import vehicles into the country, what you pay to clear them are the duties. Once you pay the duties, then the car is now yours, so you can use.
Right.
When you give the car out to another person as a gift is anything that is given without any adequate consideration. Once that is given to that person is deemed to have received income. Are you getting it? Yeah. So the law says determine the market value and pay the tax on it. If you are individual, you pay 15%. Are you getting it? And that is all that there is to it.
Yeah.
It is that is the law. Is that okay? It is not as if it is GRA that is imposing it. In fact, GRA is only administering the tax laws that have been put in place by Parliament. You get it? So that is all that. And we would be failing in our responsibility if we don't ensure that all these things are taxed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. This one says, my name is Kobe. This gift thing, dear, I can't understand. We need more understanding to accept it if it is the law. I think you just...
Yeah, so we are praying that he will understand.
Yes. SNM is my name. I received an iPhone 12 at a cost of 7,000 cedis. Can our GRA person help us calculate the tax I should pay on that?
So calculate 15% on the total amount.
15%
on the 7,000.
Okay.
Is it? What is the name?
SNM.
Yeah. Can I add your phone number so that we?
Hey, Mr. AC. Why?
Full disclosure. No, but for me, I'm particularly happy that she has come out to say that this is so it means that she's prepared to pay.
Yeah.
Are you getting it? Yeah. I'm particularly happy. But you should add a number so that I will call to find out whether she has actually done that.
Yes, now you heard AC. All right, so I think that at this juncture, my producer has told me we can activate the phone lines for you to call in. Number to call is 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353. We'll be glad to pick your calls and share with the rest of the world. This one says, can the GRA run us through, can the GRA run those of us who are doing small buying and selling on Facebook, how we would pay tax and all the procedures for filing taxes? Because accounting our income is even a problem sometimes because our income is little and never defined.
Taxation is a creature of law. The law has defined how it is supposed to be done. And every income has its way of computing. For example, if it is PAYE, that is employment income.
As you earn, yeah.
Yes, the law requires that we use what we call the individual tax rates and compute it. Now, if it is business that you are doing, we ask, are you an individual running the business? That is an enterprise. If yes, we use the individual tax rates. But if it's a company, then the question we ask is, which sector are you? Because the rates are not, the same.
Right.
It depends on the sector that you are. For example, if you are into manufacturing, are you getting it? You are a company, you are into manufacturing. The law says that when you are located in Accrue, Tema, you pay 25%. If you are located in any regional capital, you pay 18.75%. So there's a rebate of 25%.
Right.
Are you getting it? Any other area, you pay 12.5, a rebate of 50%. All these incentives are there to encourage voluntary tax compliance. Are you getting it? Right. So that is what it is.
Okay. Let's go on to the phone lines. We have a gentleman from McCarthy Hills who is there. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. How are you doing? I'm enjoying the discussion.
I'm terrific. I hope you're doing well,
It's very, very educative. I wish we could have it on a regular basis.
Thank you very much indeed.
I think our guy is doing very well in the studio. He's really educating us. But I would like to know, you know, those of us who do supply business, you know, maybe you get small contracts from here, you supply and that kind of thing. Sometimes the whole year, you can only get once. Sometimes at all. You see, you file, you put in your request, you know, the bid process. Even by the time you get a contract, it's halfway through the year. And sometimes you don't even get at all. So I would like to know the consideration for such businesses. Because if you are to, the last time I went to the office, they were telling me that I have to be paying a monthly payment or quarterly. Or sometimes the whole quarter, you've not got any contract. How do you pay money? It's very, very difficult. You understand?
Right.
So I want him to educate us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Parkwesi from McCarthy Hills. So I think you do.
Yeah, thank you very much. As I said earlier, taxation is actually not on capital, but it's on income. So if your business depends solely on supplies that you make, and the lack of it will really bring you no income, then we expect you to write to GRA. In fact, let us understand the nature of your business. The nature of my business is supplies. I actually get supplies, and when I don't have income. Let us know. Once we know, we have this information on record. That is it. Nobody would harass you. But you see, when we don't get to know your business, the taxman always has a thinking that the taxpayer may not be disclosing some income. I mean that is the culture. Are you getting it? So we want to probe further and then to actually be able to know whether the information that we are getting about you is right or wrong. But once you are not getting any supplies, let us know. And again, also file your tax returns. At the end of the year, file your tax returns. Let us know you are not actually getting anything.
Yes,
but when you don't file your tax returns, then that becomes a problem.
Okay. Please slow. No. Are you done? Okay. All right. So I just want to find out from you how the GRA is leveraging on technology, you know, to improve tax collection.
Yeah, thank you very much. In fact, as I alluded, to earlier, I told you, we can't now. Taxpayers can now file online. They can also pay online. So that is the technology that we are using.
Right.
And when it comes to customs as well, you mentioned this ICAMS, Integrated Customs Management System. Yeah, exactly. That we are also able to use technology to determine the value of goods that are supposed to. Duties are supposed to be paid on. Are you getting it? So when it comes to technology, yes, we are doing so well. With time, we'll actually move completely from manual systems to technology-driven systems so that we can efficiently serve our customers.
All right. So we'll go on to the lines and welcome Audrey, who is calling us from Botiano. Good evening, sir. Boche.
Sir, please, I think I would like to find out with regards to the supply business. If you are an employee somewhere, and you're also doing this business as a side business, you're already paying tax on your income. So you are paying your income tax. I want to know how that can be factored in some level of waiver or consideration during the side business that you are getting. Because as my other brother said, it's true. Sometimes you might not get a contract at all. You file for bid. It takes a long time. You don't get it at all. And GRA, you go to GRA willingly, you work to GRA. Then they tell you have to pay in this quarter. I say, this quarter I've done nothing. You understand? But they will still insist. But meanwhile, you are an employee somewhere that you are paying your income tax on regular basis. Every month they are deducting your big money and they are paying to GRA. So I don't know if there is any consideration in that regard. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Odwe.
Yeah, thank you very much. There are 3 streams of income that is subject to tax in Ghana. We have employment income under Section 4 of Act 896. We have business income, Section 5. Then we have investment income. Now, if you are an employee and you are also running a business.
AC, kindly engage me. I'm the one who did this. You are not sitting on the line.
So, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So in the case that we are looking at, he's an employee and also a supplier or running a business.
Yes.
The law requires that we determine the income separately. That's what we call the ring fencing. So you determine your employment income, you determine your business income, you determine your investment income separately. Are you getting it? And you pay your taxes accordingly. You cannot use your employment income to offset. The law does not allow that.
Right.
Are you getting it? What the law says is that if you have business income, you have investment income. The law allows you, if you make a business loss, are you getting it? You match it against your investment.
Right.
But investment loss cannot be matched against business. That's what the law says. But for an employee who is also into business, there are two lines of demarcations, and we expect that, even though in filing you have to file one tax returns, is that okay? But we expect that you disclose all and pay taxes on both. We cannot say because you are an employee, therefore your employment income should take care of your business income. That is not what the law says.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So I know that you have a system in place at your place at the GRA where if I am an employee and my employer fails to do the needful by paying my taxes on my behalf, I can come and perhaps blow the whistle.
Yeah, that is very true. In fact, the point is that the Convention General has put in place a system of reward for persons that actually disclose information regarding taxpayers who are not paying. When we are able to recover, money following that information that you have given to GRA, then you are actually rewarded. Yeah. So in fact, a lot of people are responding. They are giving us information, and they are also taking, their rewards accordingly. As soon as the work is done, and then the taxes are identified. Even in some cases, they are not even recovered.
Yes.
But Commissioner will sign that. Please let the person be paid. That is how fast he does his work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I understand we have Philmans. He sent a message earlier on the phone. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
He's calling from Tema. Yes. Please flow.
Ken.
Yes.
Yeah, good evening once again.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, please, I want AC to explain to us. Is he saying the interest he's talking about? Is it the interest charge we pay on vehicles that has come to the ports with more than 7 days?
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah, I want him to explain the interest he's talking about.
Okay.
Is it the interest charge we pay on duties or on goods that has overstayed at the port after 7 days? Is it the one he's talking about?
Okay, he's talking about the interest that you are waiving.
Yes. Yeah, we are talking about, interest and penalties arising from, taxes. But we are looking at period up to 31st December 2020. Let's be very clear. Are you getting it? If it is current, this year, you cannot benefit from it because that is not what the law says. And taxation is a creature of statute. So Convention General would just go by what the law says it should do. So as we speak now, the law has is in response to principal payments that have not been done up to the 1st December 2020, and then you benefit from the interest and penalty, but not current, situations.
All right. Philmans, are you satisfied? Well, I think he's gone, but I think that he would have picked it. So you can also give us a call, and the number to dial is 020-552-8353. I'll be glad to pick your call and then get your contribution onto the discussion. Now, Mr. AC, obviously, tax education as a country is low. What are we doing?
I wouldn't quite agree with you that tax education is very low. We are out there. We are on the electronic media. We are on print media. We are also on social media. We are all over the place.
Right.
There's visibility of GRA everywhere. Are you getting it? And we also have governmental persons talking, for GRA and what have you. It is not low. But you see, I think that when it comes to tax payment, there's that kind of inertia. Let's confront the truth. Are you getting it? Taxpayers are not quite happy paying taxes.
Hold your fire. When we come back, you continue with that. But we have Nicholas from Ablekuma. Hello, sir. Good evening, Nicholas.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Please flow.
Thank you too. I just tuned in my station to this channel, and then I just saw this conversation going on. There's something I just want to find out.
You just keyed in what?
I just want to find out if I'm an employee, and then I want to know that my employer is really paying my taxes. How do I do that?
Right. Okay. Thank you very much indeed, Nicholas, for the call. How does he know whether his employer is actually?
Oh no, just find out from any GRA office. Give us the information about your employer, the team, and then we can establish that. Yeah.
Okay.
Just any GRA office, you can't get that information.
And he would have to send along his TIN number.
Yeah, the name and then the TIN. In fact, we are particularly interested in the TIN
number,
and then we'll find out.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I know.
But I mean, as an individual employee, you can also ask the accountant to give you information. You get it? That they are paying taxes because actually it's our civic responsibility. So if our employers are not doing right, we actually have to demand accountability. Yeah.
All right. So you were explaining the issue of the tax education.
Yes,
and
so,
the visibility of GRA.
Yes, we are all over the place.
And why you think that tax education is
not
low?
So in fact, I think that generally it has to do with the culture of payment, of taxes. You get it? Often when we try to find out or we establish that persons are not paying taxes, then the response has always been that, oh, we are not aware, we actually didn't know. I mean, those explanations, I call them excuses. I get it. When it comes to tax payment, as I said, it's a constitutional responsibility.
All right, it's a constitutional responsibility. You continue from there, but Yakubu from Accra is on the line. Hello, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir, good evening, sir.
Thank you very much indeed, Yakubu. Please flow, sir.
Yes. Please, I happen to register a business, a limited liability business. That is 3 years ago. And the business has not been, the business has wind up.
The business has done what?
Now is,
Yakubu, please come again, sir.
I said the business has wind up. I mean, I'm no longer operating the business. Yes. And then I went to GRA office and was told to file my tax returns. Yes. How do I do that? Because the business has not been operating for the past 3 years.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So I want to know that.
Thank you very much indeed, Yakubu, for the call.
No, for us in GRA, I think that the name of the game is evidence. Yes, if you establish a company, the company is worn up, and you are no longer in business. But we require a tax return to make that determination. So before even winding up, you needed to indicate to GRA that this is what you intend doing. Then you follow it up with a tax return, indicating that this is what it is. Then we are able to see the situation, and then we'll assess you. The assessment can be that you don't have any tax to pay, or you pay something, you get it. But if you don't do that, then the system will not recognize the fact that you have actually worn up. The system will recognize that you are still in existence.
Okay.
And so long as that is not corrected, GRA would have the information that you are still, and then they
all right, so Yakubu should take steps to go and correct this information so that it will reflect that he's been okay.
Exactly.
All right. So we go to Abeka La Paz and pick a call from there. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my name is John. I'm calling from Abeka La Paz.
John, yes, please flow.
Okay, my question is, I'm an accountant in a healthcare organization. I think I've prepared financial system for the past 3 years, and I haven't been able to, not that I've had, but the tax authority, the GRA people have never come to do my tax audit. So I want to know, because I have some recurring tax liabilities that I have to pay. So since they haven't come and conduct a tax audit, so how am I going to pay those liabilities? So can I also claim amnesty on those liabilities that I haven't paid?
Right. Thank you very much, John. Are you done?
Thank you.
Hello, John. All right. Thank you very much indeed, AC. I think
okay,
you
so
want to take that.
let me see whether I really got him right. Now, so he's talking about the fact that he's an accountant in an organization.
And GRA has not been to their place to audit their documents.
Yeah, as for audits, we do it based on random sampling. We also do it based on intelligence and whatever. The fact that they haven't come to you, I mean, you should do the right thing. Taxes are paid quarterly in the case of your entity. So every quarter, make efforts to pay. At the end of the year, determine your tax in accordance with the tax law, the best that you know, and pay. Yeah. Whilst you wait for an audit that may probably be done in future. In any case, you can also write to GRA that you want an audit to be conducted so that you are free. Then in that case, they will respond.
Right. All right, so paying taxes is a constitutional mandate. That's tax education. That's where you got to when I interjected.
Yeah, so it is a requirement by law. I mean, the Constitution. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It says that we should disclose our income honestly. So for me, whether there's education or no education, that responsibility should not be ignored. Then apart from that, GRA is also doing so well. I mean, I can tell you that when it comes to tax education, the Commissioner General is committed. And almost every day we are in the media. Right. Are you getting it? Almost every day we are all over social media. Sometimes you ask, is it only, I mean, is that the only thing that we can do? Yes. We just want to create that visibility. Right. But of course, I mean, the visibility is there. Right. We are doing our best and encourage us.
All right. All right. So Joshua from Ablekuma is on the line. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Joshua. I'm calling from Ablekuma.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much indeed. Please flow.
All right. Please, I just want to know the difference between, I get employment just last year after service, and under Ministry of Health actually, and I've been paid. I mean, they do pay me from controller, but I don't have my TIN number. I've not created one. Does it mean that I still owe some amount to pay to GRA? Because on my salary, I see the deductions and all that. I mean, the income deduction and all that. Is it that I have to create TIN number before I can pay all my what do I say? My returns, to GRA. Is it that I have to create my TIN number before? Because I still have deductions on my pay.
Right. Okay, so it's pretty simple.
Yeah, thank you very much. As an employee, your employer is required to withhold your PAYE and pay to GRA. That is not your responsibility. But when it comes to filing your tax returns annually, you are required to do that. Now, it is obligated on every person. Are you getting it? Especially if you are an employee, to get what you call your taxpayer identification number, which is now Ghana card. You will have to actually get it. Otherwise, a time will come, you can't access services. Indeed, I'm not too sure why you don't have it, because employers were actually encouraged to make sure that all their employees are given the taxpayer identification number. Be that as it may, if you don't have, I will encourage you tomorrow, just walk to any GRA office and have it regularized.
All right. Okay. So I know there are efforts to merge the TIN and the Ghana card, and we said the Ghana card was not going to become the main, number that people are going to use. That will replace TIN. How far have you come in terms of trying to, implement this?
Oh yeah, we've started working on it since April 1st. That is trying to synchronize the TIN and then the Ghana card. That has been done. So what it is that there's what we call co-location.
Please, that's very important. So let's go back to Philmens. I think he's not satisfied with some response you gave, and pick him, and he'll be our last caller indeed for tonight. Good evening, Philmens, once again.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
You still need more clarity, yeah?
Yeah. I want the further issue.
Please flow.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Please flow.
Yeah, I want AC to clarify this issue for me. There's a practice at the GRA, a new company, a new registered freight forwarding company, which needs a tax clearance for the customs license. When you go to the GRA to register, they assess and ask you to make some payment, whilst you have not operated as a company. And they want you to pay some taxes before they give you the tax clearance. My issue is that you have not operated. You now need a license to operate. So what tax have you, what profit or what income have you made that you have to pay tax before they issue the tax clearance? Let him explain. I'm on the line, sir.
Right. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. It is tax clearance certificate. That's the name. Tax clearance certificate. And the tax clearance certificate is actually a certificate that tells us that you have paid all your taxes. Is that okay? Or you have actually made satisfactory arrangement with the Commissioner General to clear your taxes. That is what it is. Yeah. Now you haven't worked before. In fact, it's a new company, as you've said, but you are required to actually get a tax clearance certificate. Usually what we ask is make a deposit. Because what it is that you are looking at the tax clearance certificate has the past 2 years information and then the current year. That is what we do. So the past 2 years that you were not working, we call you not liable. But this current year, we are saying that you haven't worked, but we are saying that just deposit something so that we can issue to you the tax clearance certificate to you. That is all that there is. But they are not asking you to pay tax as it were. They are saying issue something because it's a certificate that we are to say that this is the arrangement that you are making. Are you getting it?
Right.
But if of course you don't have money, to pay, then you need to actually explain, and then I'm sure they will listen to you.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you were explaining the tin and Ghana card.
So what it is that
migration from
exactly
tin to Ghana.
What it is that I think it was a policy decision. A lot of persons had actually enrolled for the Ghana card as against the taxpayer identification number. So there was a need to actually synchronize. And when we synchronized, we realized that those who had registered for the Ghana card were really more than those who had registered for the tin.
Right.
I get it. So hence the synchronization. Now for us in GRA, it is very helpful because we are able to now get to know persons who have the card, who probably are not paying taxes, but ought to actually pay. So we are working on that. Okay. There are some too who have the Ghana card, but they are not working. So for such persons,
are you going to make such people pay from back, like?
The situation would actually determine that. We have to find out. I get it, how it is. And of course, they would have to help us be able to establish that. But there are also some other persons who probably are not income earners. For such persons, we will only just monitor, but we are not interested in them for now because they are not paying taxes.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is what it is. So the Ghana card is very important, and it is replacing the tin. But take note, once you hold the Ghana card, for tax purposes, it's still taxpayer identification number.
Right.
Are you getting it? Even though you are holding the Ghana card. If you are using it for any other destination, that is not a thing. But once you are holding it for tax purposes, it's still taxpayer identification number.
Right.
Are you getting it? And for me, I think that it was a very good decision by government to actually synchronize it. And we are trying to actually pick the data and then to do our matching and see those who actually are supposed to be paying taxes are not paying, then we'll get them to actually pay. That is the reconciliation that we are doing currently.
Right. Okay, so I'm told we have barely 3 minutes to wrap up, and so I would want to find out from you what you think is of priority to the GRA right now in terms of the rollout of this particular, waivers and incentives, waivers on penalties and interest to the trading public, which is coming to a close at the end of this month. You've impressed us on them to take advantage of this short period to rush and come and deal with it. What else would you want to add?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that all I will add is that the face of GRA has changed. We are now efficient tax administrators. Commissioner General has put in place what they call the customer experience. That's a very new unit that is in GRA to actually help GRA staff. Is that okay to relate very well with taxpayers because we need taxpayers to be able to actually be in business.
Right.
Yeah. And I just want to appeal that the tax amnesty would end on 30th. We haven't had any indication that it's going to actually be extended. So please, taxpayers should take advantage and ensure that they liquidate all their tax liabilities. And remember that it has to do with tax payments which have not been paid, which relate to period up to 31st December 2020. And also to say that we are counting on them to actually help so that we can raise needed revenue to ensure that we are able to build Mother Ghana.
Right.
And I want to say that GRA is a partner in nation building.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Mr. Dominic Nab is the technical advisor to the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority. He's an assistant commissioner of the Ghana Revenue Authority. We've been discussing the waivers on penalties and interest rolled out by the Ghana Revenue Authority, and you had a lucid, explanation he has given on what you need to do if you have some penalties or waiver interest that you need waived. Please take advantage of it now. And this is how we'd like to draw the curtain on tonight's edition of Our Report here on Metropolitan Television. Remember, the abridged version of the show is also aired on Ghana Television at 8:30 p.m. every Wednesday. Now, yesterday was a solemn day for the freight forwarding fraternity because they took time to go pay their last respects to one of their own, Kofi Ocherdako, KOD, who was laid to rest yesterday. We had people from all across the country representing in Tema to bid him farewell. He was taken to his hometown in the Eastern region where he was finally interred. We wish the family and all the freight forwarding fraternity and everybody that he has associated with the best. And we say we all take consolation in the fact that we believe his legacy will thrive on, will live on, because he actually did live a very fruitful and, emulating life here on earth. We are grateful to you, listeners and viewers, for also watching tonight. Next week, God willing, we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of the program. Thanks to Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Ghana Revenue Authority, Oil Company, Serene Insurance, and indeed Ghana Link Network Services, operators of ICOMS, who are our sponsors. My name is Kennedy Mona. Have a super week ahead.